In my Commander Legends box opening video, I got a comment that said, can you build a Commander deck out of a single box of Commander Legends? And the answer is, you can. Now, it's not going to be the most powerful deck out there. It's not going to win you on turn like 2 or 3. Maybe it's not going to win at all. But the point of Commander is not necessarily to win, it's to kind of have fun, especially with friends. So I'm going to kind of talk you through a couple of the pieces that I do when deck building and kind of how the restrictions of a box of Commander Legends inform how you build your deck. Now, my style of gameplay is definitely not make lots of creatures and do lots of things. I'm more of a controlling player, so there's going to be a few controlling aspects, more politically aspects to this deck than your average deck builder will have, but I'll just kind of talk you through some of my decisions and kind of how to build a general commander deck at all. So on top, we've got the base clans, which I grabbed from Zendikar Rising just because I had them lying around. They are gorgeous art, and I really like them. I will talk through the kind of land choices later. Your commander deck will always be helmed by your commander, which in this case is Amarith the Lustrous. He informs what colors you can play. Color identity matters, so in this case I can only play green, white, blue cards. There's a few different other stipulations with color identity that don't play into this just because of how Commander Legends is. They didn't make some of those weird corner cases, really, but it's a 6/6 flying dragon. Who doesn't love dragons? It's what Commander was originally named, was Elder Dragon Highlander, which Elder Dragons. This is not an Elder Dragon, it's just a regular dragon. But 6/6 flyer, whenever another permanent enters the battlefield under your control with the top card of your library, it shares a card type with the permanent. Card type is, creature, artifact, land, enchantment, planeswalker. If it shares a card type with that permanent, you deal that card and put it in your hand. So you can get a little bit of card advantage. Either way, it's also a 6/6 flying dragon, so you can beat down pretty well in the air. Now, as for the cards themselves, I've arranged them according to mana cost. So it'll be all the cheaper cards up front and all the more expensive cards later on. So the first ones are just some lands, some mana fixing. Opal Palace can tap for colorless, or can add mana of your commander's color identity. If you spend it to cast your commander, that commander gets more counters, which is pretty cool, especially in the late game. You've cast your commander a few times, and it gets bigger. So your 6/6 dragon turns into 7/7, 8/8, etc. We also have the Path of Ancestry, which again will tap, comes into play tapped, but can tap for 1 mana of any color in your commander's color identity. Doesn't have to be spent to cast your commander, but if you cast a creature spell that shares a creature type with it, so a dragon in this case, you get to scry 1. There are no other dragons in this deck except for Amarith, but it does fix your mana. Plus, whenever you cast your commander using it, you get to scry 1. We've got our command tower. Simple, just tap for 1 mana of any color from your commander. Pretty cool. And then Terramorphic, search library for base clan card. Nice little fixing there. 1-drop slot, pretty unimpressive. Preordain, a little bit of card draw, a little bit of weakening your opponent's creatures with a spontaneous mutation. Again, can be used pretty politically, because it's like, hey, you're attacking me? Oh, well, you don't want to do that. You want to attack my buddy over here. Kind of where I go. 2-drop slot, we get a little bit more mana ramp, card draw, some things over here. So, Elvish Visionary draws you a card. Prophetic Prism draws you a card, fixes your mana, because it can tap 1, tap it, add 1 mana of any color. So it changes your mana to any color you need. We've got a little, run away together, nice little bouncy spell. So you can pick up one of your things, and pick up one of your own things, and pick up your opponent's thing, or 2 of your opponents have big creatures in play. They both get returned to their hand. Omen Speaker, more card draw. Thought Vessel, Mana Rock, because it taps for mana. Also, you have no maximum hand size if you end up drawing too many cards. More card draw. Just lots of little incremental things. I'm not going to go through every card here, but plenty of mana rocks to kind of get you into the later game earlier. Azure is a nice little flyer. Legendary creature, protects your commander a little bit more. And we've got just kind of more of the same. Nothing too big or exciting here. 3-drop slot. We got some cool little things. Haunted Cloak, Vigilance, Trample, and Haste, which I'm going to set aside because there's a cool card later on that interacts with this nicely. but you can, give your commander haste, which means they can attack the turn it comes out. Little filigree fox guy, gain some life, draw some cards. Nothing too scary. Again, more mana ramp. Cage of Hands, nice little pacifism effect. Your opponents can't attack, or the enchanted creature can't attack or block. So it's like, hey, I know that thing's going to be coming at me. I don't want it to come at me. So this will protect it. And plus, if they find a way to, save their creature from the Cage of Hands, you can just return it to its hand. Obviously, you can't do this from its graveyard. It can only be when it's still in play, but it's pretty cool. All right, let's grab some more cards here. A little bit of card draw, a little bit of mana dorks. Nothing super weird here. A little bit of destruction spells. I like destroying a good creature. I like destroying any creature, really. It doesn't matter if they're good or not, but I like destroying creatures. Kind of keep the board clear. More mana. More destruction spells. Artifacts and enchantments are always going to be a pain. The only thing this deck doesn't really have is just, getting rid of the graveyard, because lots of decks try to use graveyard shenanigans, but I feel like there's enough things here to disrupt your opponents from doing what they want to do. These vows, all three of them, each go on a creature, give the creature a buff, but they can't attack you or your planeswalkers. So it's kind of more politically in that sense, because you got a big creature over there. I don't want him coming after me. He can still attack and do things. I don't care about that, but I don't want him killing me. So you put it on their big creature, and it's like, well, I'm safe for now. Slaughter the Strong can't ever have enough board wipes. Gift of Paradise, more mana. Fall from Favor, and introduces the Monarch. Also, that creature doesn't untap unless that player is the Monarch. So I really like this card in Commander. It's also probably pretty good in Limited, but don't know enough about that. The Monarch mechanic is a mechanic that induces attacking. So the Monarch is, at the beginning of your end step, you draw an additional card. The player can steal the Monarchy from you by attacking you and hitting you with a creature. But this card is designed to, I'll become the Monarch, and that creature can't attack, doesn't untap, which usually means it can't attack, but there are other ways to untap it. But getting the Monarch in play and drawing that extra card, having that little bit of card advantage is pretty cool. Plus, the art on this thing, you got a foil one out of the box. It's very pretty. Wrong turn. Target opponent gains control of target creature. Who doesn't love your opponents gaining control of each other's creatures? Creates a little bit of shenanigans there, and plus, if an attacking or blocking creature changes controllers, it's removed from combat. So if it's attacking you, you can say, hey, this other opponent gains control of it. It's no longer attacking me. It's removed from combat. So it protects you a little bit. More card draw, little mana dork here. Only draws you a card if it's spending, casting a big spell, but still draws you cards eventually and makes mana. This can also, get some damage through. Can draw you some cards maybe, but it's still a 2/3. Nice little creature there. Golmold Drakh, a little rare. So protect you and permanents you control, protection from salamanders, which is a term I don't think I'd ever say in Commander, but it's a thing. And then, at the beginning of your end step, each player controls the fewest creatures makes a salamander. So you're helping your opponents out. If you have the fewest creatures, you also get you can get a salamander token, so that you can kind of maybe block if you need to. But your salamander will have protection from your opponent's salamanders. So there's that. This is a nice mana sink. Late in the game, you have this guy out. Can't really do much else. You can make soldier tokens. And here is the card that I thought would go well with the Haunted Cloak. Chroma's Will. Choose one. If you control a commander as you cast a card, you may choose both. Creature you control gain Flying, Vigilance, and Double Strike, or creature you control gain Lifelink, Indestructible, and Protection from all colors. With the Haunted Cloak, Akroma herself does things, which, oh hey, look at that. Akroma, Vision of Ixidor. Flying, First Strike, Vigilance, Trample. At the beginning of each combat, until the end of turn, each other creature you control gains +1/+1 if it has Flying, +1/+1 if it has Double Strike, First Strike, etc., etc. So with the Haunted Cloak, your guy gets Vigilance, Trample, and Haste. With the Akroma, it'll also get +1/+1 for each of those abilities until end of turn, so you get +3/+3 until end of turn, which is pretty cool. And then she's got her will. Face Fetters, more your creature can't do things. Anara, Wolfed Familiar, it's 4/4 for 4, which is pretty good by itself. But then, as long as your commanders are indestructible, which commander is just one, Amarith is indestructible, but it can attack freely. Amphibian Mutineer, another salamander, nice foil card here. Was also in the box. But whenever it enters the battlefield, exile from Gnarl and salamander creature. They make a salamander. Yeah, cool enough. They've got a big creature there you don't want to deal with. You need to turn into a salamander. But it's got this really cool encore ability. So when it's in your graveyard, you can pay 6 for 2 blue, exile from your graveyard, and then for each opponent you make one. And when each of those enters the battlefield, you can exile another non-salamander creature, and they make salamanders, but you can exile their best things and turn them into 4/3 salamanders. So they've got even like an Emrakul, you can turn that into a salamander. Pretty fun. More little card draw things. Nice little flyer, 3/2 flyer. Emoti, Celebrant of Bounty, Cascading. Who doesn't love Cascading? And big spells you have Cascade, which we're only in the 5s right now, so there are probably enough 6 or greater cards in this deck that can just have Cascade because of Emoti. Bladegriff Prototype, another little rare, does some shenanigans with, again, politicking. Forceful Nile, nice little counter spell with Cascade. So you get a free spell whenever you Cascade. When you cast it, you exile cards from the top of your library until you get something cheaper. So this is a 5, so you would cast it and you would get a 4-drop. Or less. You might get a 1-drop for all you know. But it's part of the randomness and fun that I like. Iona's Judgment, just plain good removal. Exile target creature and enchantment. Single Spider. Destroys a creature with flying. Lots of little destruction spells in this. Nothing too groundbreaking. With only coming from one box, you're going to have a lot of commons and uncommons, and it's all singleton. Maven Surveyor, good little flyer, decent value. Prosperous Pirates, more little card draw spells. Here's another rare that we got. It's Sakushima's Protege. 3/1 Flash Cascade. Again, when you Cascade, you get something cheaper, but it comes into the battlefield as a copy of any permanent that entered this turn. So the thing that you Cascade into, you can have this come into play as a copy of, or since it has Flash, you can cast it during your opponent's turn. So they play a big creature, you play this, maybe you get something cool off the Cascade, but then you can copy their big creature that they just brought into play. Slurk, All Ingesting. Don't really have too many synergies with this, but it is a 6 mana 5/5. Somehow your creatures get +1 zone counters. Cool. Just not a bad creature. Elegant, Crossroads Augur. If you would scry, instead you draw that many cards. So there's a couple of scry cards in here, but if nothing else, again, 5/6 flyer. Bigger creatures generally better. Speaklum Recluse. Lots of words here. Flash, Cascade, and Reach. Reach means it can block creatures with flying, even though it doesn't have flying. And then when it enters the battlefield, put some counters on each of any number of target creatures that enter the battlefield this turn. So you can turn itself. It can do the being cascaded from, because it comes into play later. Confiscate, steal creatures, steal your opponent, steal permanent. So you can steal their commander, you can steal anything you want of your opponents. Scale Behemoth, little big creature, 6/7 hexproof. Nothing too noteworthy there. Lore Seeker Stone, more card draw. Card draw is always good in Commander just because it's card advantage. So the more cards you can play, the better chance you have of winning. In this kind of deck where you don't really have all of the big powerhouse beefy spells, you'll want to get more card advantage to offset the fact that your cards aren't necessarily as good. Annoyed All-Star, Cascade, Reach, Trample, big creature. Sandstone Oracle draws you more cards. Ingenuity Engine, Cascade. You can also keep bouncing this, so you can keep casting it and casting free spells off the top of your library if you're in the late game, where you haven't drawn really anything, or haven't drawn any of your other card draw to have more cards to cast. If you're not doing anything on your turn, it's not really much point, but this gives you more things to do during your turn. Meteor Golem, nice little destroy target non-land permanent and opponent controls. I don't know if you can tell, I like destroying my opponent's permanents. Kamal, Heart of Krosa, another mana sink at the end of the game. Until end of turn, target land you control becomes a 1/1 elemental creature with vigilance, indestructible, and haste. Indestructible is important because that way they just can't kill your lands. You need your lands to cast your spells. and otherwise he's a 5/5. And at the beginning of your combat on your turn, creature control get +3 and gain trample. So it's a good way to finish the game, hopefully. And then finally, a Maelstrom Colossus, 8 mana, 7/7, just Cascade. So one of the great things about Commander as well, especially when you're starting off, is you can get more packs. You can open, say, a pack from any given set and just kind of add in whatever you like from the set. So that's one of the cool things. When you've been playing as long as I have, you've got lots of old cards that you haven't played recently, or you can open new cards and just kind of pick and choose what you want to add. You can also just build completely new decks like this was. I didn't have an Amareth because he's a brand new card. I didn't have a lot of the cards in this set, but I could just build a deck, play it with friends. I don't really care too much about winning. It's all about, kind of big spectacular gameplay, but you don't really have that with just the one set of cards. What's really cool is also being able to find older cards that kind of work with your newer cards, or trading for something that looks really fun and kind of splashy. You can definitely build just an aggro, I'm going to attack a player, but that's not really my style of gameplay. I think I've got one kind of deck like that, but it's all based around equipment and has a lot of self-animating artifacts. So that's kind of my take on Commander. Like I said, you can modify your decks in any way. You can definitely build a deck from one box. You might even be able to build two. I don't really know if there's enough of a deep enough card pool to build two Commander decks. You certainly can try. I probably would, mix and match more sets to get more deeper card pools, more cards to choose from, more unique interactions, because each set has its own abilities and new terms to learn. Like Encore is new in this, Cascade's an old term they brought back. And there's so many things you can do with the Commander format. I hope this has been enlightening to somewhat and just doesn't sound like a complete, utter rant. But I hope it's been informative. If you have any more, questions, feel free to ask them, and I'll see if I can answer them cohesively. Thanks. Bye.